Hello everyone, welcome back to another video where today I want to talk a little bit more about the 60th anniversary casting rumour of Miriam Margolyes, as there's some more details that I think make this story a bit more interesting and perhaps a bit more likely, as well as my thoughts as to who she could actually be playing. I also wanted to go over some new regeneration details with regards to the filming of the David Tennant scenes that were released in Doctor Who magazine. Once again, I have skimmed the magazine, but obviously there's little bits that I missed that are slowly being drip thread through the tabloids, so I thought I'd go over those. As well as a new move from RTD to cast another huge name, although perhaps not where you might think. But before we get into it, if you could do me a teeny tiny little favour and click that subscribe button, I'd be very much appreciative of that. Our next stop is 17,300, which we're just over 60 subscribers away from. So if we could hit that maybe today, that would be absolutely fantastic. Thank you for all the support on yesterday's video, breaking the news of the Miriam Margolyes rumour. I wasn't expecting it to go that big, to be honest, but yeah, we're going to be going more in depth about that right now. Also, go follow me on Twitter if you want to. You don't have to, but it is there if you'd like. It's linked in the description if that interests you. Also, be sure to like the video. It really helps out the algorithm and stuff, and just the channel in general. But yeah, let's get into the video. So the sun has been spotted in UK retailers this morning, and in their TV biz section, you've got Margolyes to Doctor Who, or Margle, yes. Very clever pun, he said sarcastically. These days, outrageous actress Miriam Margolyes is more famous for making documentaries and turning the air blue wherever she goes. But she will return to what she does best, with a substantial guest appearance in the Doctor Who 60th anniversary specials. The shows, which start airing next year on BBC One, will see her work opposite David Tennant as he reprises his role as the Time Lord. A TV insider said, and then obviously it's basically the same quote. So yeah, they basically then just go over the sort of stuff that we've already heard from the TV Zone article. What I find might give this more legitimacy though, because I went over, why I don't really believe the Sun in yesterday's video. What I think might give this more legitimacy is this. The Miriam Margolyes account on Twitter actually tweeted the TV Zone report, stating that Miriam Margolyes would appear in the 60th anniversary. Now, it is important to note that this isn't actually Miriam Margolyes herself, as she does not do Twitter, she's not on Twitter. However, this account does have nearly 200,000 followers, so it's not out of the realm of possibility that someone manages this account on Miriam's behalf. After all, I think Sylvester McCoy does a very similar thing with his Twitter account, where it's basically ran by someone else. So that perhaps does add a little bit more legitimacy to this idea, along with, obviously, the picture of her with David Tennant and Emily Cook as well, another Doctor Who alumni. So yeah, the more that this sort of rumour is being bandied about, the more I'm inclined to believe it's true. The thing I wanted to talk about, though, is the theory as to who she might be playing in the actual anniversary specials. Mainly, I've seen people stating that she could well voice Beep the Meep, as she has a, long-standing voiceover career. People pointed out to me in the comments of yesterday's video that she, of course, voiced the Blatherine in Sarah's Own Adventures episode The Gift.
Stand back, Miss Smith!
So yeah, many people have speculated that she could in fact be voicing Beep the Meep, who is obviously a rumoured returning monster for the 60th anniversary. I say returning, they've not actually been in the main show, but they are a big player in the comics. And we've also seen what looks to be Beep the Meep on the set of the 60th anniversary. And having a comedic talent like Miriam Margolyes voice such a fun, silly character makes a lot of sense. And it would also explain, why perhaps she wasn't at public filming like Neil Patrick Harris was, for example, who we know is going to be the main villain. Obviously, she could have also done stuff studio-bound, but I think voiceover is quite a likely thing, given her history with it. And yeah, she just makes sense for the role of Beep the Meep, so yeah, I don't really blame people for coming to that conclusion. Personally, I wouldn't mind. There was also some interesting other news in the Doctor Who ecosystem, I suppose. Kate Winslet and Russell T Davies team up for more Dark Seasons, so this isn't for Doctor Who, but this is an audio series based on one of RTD's earliest projects, Dark Season, which was a TV show, I believe, and it's being adapted into an audio play by Big Finish. And Kate Winslet is actually starring in it as she originally did in the 90s. So what I kind of wanted to bring this up for was basically to show how many high-profile names Russell T Davies seems to be working with, obviously Neil Patrick Harris, and now Miriam Margolyes being rumoured for the 60th anniversary, and now Kate Winslet doing something for Big Finish. I mean, could we see Kate Winslet make her way over to the main Doctor Who show? I think that's a possibility, but yeah, I think the star power of this new era is becoming very abundant. Obviously, this isn't Doctor Who, but it's still Russell T Davies, so it still kind of shows his his plethora of contacts in the, industry and stuff like that. And I reckon we could be seeing some quite high-profile talent entering the show in the next few years, if the last few days weren't already a massive indicator of that. And then finally, to wrap up your quick Doctor Who news bulletin, David Tennant filmed Doctor Who Regeneration 7 months after Whittaker wrapped. So Doctor Who magazine revealed how the regeneration scene was filmed. Whittaker's regeneration scene was shot on the 13th of October 2021, while Tennant's took place 7 months later on a similar, slightly smaller green screen just up the road at Rothlock Studio. At Rothlock Studios, the magazine revealed. Okay, so that's actually quite interesting, because that could well be the last usage of Rothlock Studios for Doctor Who for at least some time, because we know now its operations have moved to Bad Wolf, so that could well be the last thing filmed at Rothlock for Doctor Who for quite some time. I imagine the Bad Wolf thing will carry on for a while. The Power of the Doctor's director, Jamie Magniston, was filming in Australia, so Rachel Talalay picked up the torch for Tennant's scene. I can't imagine anyone better, Stone told the publication. I'm an enormous fan of Rachel's episodes. I think she's the best director Doctor Who's ever had. And that's interesting as well, because many fans pointed out the sort of directorial differences in both the Jamie Magniston and Rachel Talalay styles. Obviously, in Jodie's regen, it's very close up to her face, and then with Rachel, as soon as the David Tennant segment begins, there's more wide shots and more sort of, distance between David and the camera, which I think is just interesting to note their different directorial styles. I think that's very interesting. On filming the moment, Talalay said, "I'm so lucky I get to do this. That I get to regenerate David is phenomenal. I was incredibly interested in returning. Just the fact that Russell T Davies was coming back was enough. When I was told it was David too, that took me to a whole other level." Speaking last month about the return to the sci-fi franchise, Tennant explained it didn't really feel like a risk. And then, so that was David's quote from last month, I believe, on BBC News, when the news broke after Power of the Doctor that he was indeed the 14th Doctor. So it's very interesting. Obviously, it kind of confirmed what we sort of already knew, that there were two directors for the two different scenes of the regeneration, which I think is pretty commonplace. But I think you can definitely tell the differences in their style if you look really closely. I also just think it's really interesting that it was also filmed at Rothlock, and will probably be the last thing to be filmed at Rothlock for Doctor Who for the foreseeable future, because Bad Wolf has their own facilities that they use. So but that's about all that I have for you in this sort of news bulletin roundup thingamabob. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to give it a like, comment down below your thoughts, and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you later.